The next leadership tool that helps us live the DKSH values is the circle of influence. It's a great tool to help you focus on what you can really do about a situation, and it's perfect when you're feeling a bit overwhelmed or out of control. It is also useful as a time management tool. It can help you have a sense of being able to accomplish more. Let's take a look. What are all the things that you're concerned about in the world? Well, I'm concerned about politics, the weather, my favorite sports team. I'm also concerned about the projects I have due. I'm concerned about whether or not I'm going to get a good bonus. I'm concerned about whether or not my coworkers think highly of me. The list goes on and on. So that whole list of things that I'm concerned about could be put in this circle of concern. Now, I could take all those things in the circle of concern and I could kind of sort them into two piles. So I could make another circle inside of this one, and we might call this the circle of influence. So as I was sorting all of those things out, I would ask myself, is this something I have any influence over? It's important to me, I'm concerned about it, but can I influence it? The weather? No, I can't really influence the weather. So that would be over here in the circle of concern. The bonus I get. Yeah, I have some influence over that. Okay, we'll put that over here in the circle of influence. And I could just work through all of the things I'm concerned about and say, do I have influence over them or do I have no influence? Now, I could take all the things that are here in this circle of influence and I could divide them again. And I could ask myself another question. Is this something that I have complete control over or not? And what do I mean by control? By control, I mean I completely shape the outcome. I don't just influence, I have complete control. And so I look at all the things in the influence and say, do I have complete control over this? Yes? Okay, it goes in the control circle. And if not, it would just stay in the influence circle. What are the things that I have complete control over in my life? Well, I definitely have complete control over what I think about, how I focus my attention. Sometimes it doesn't feel like it, right? Your thoughts drift around, but you can recognize that and pull your thought back and say, no, I need to really focus on this. The second thing I have complete control over are my emotions and feelings, how I feel about something. And again, that may feel like something you say, no, I don't have any control. Sometimes my emotions just rise right up. But as we learned in the responsibility model, you actually can be an author. You can choose, by looking at your perceptions and challenging your perceptions, a different response, inner and outer. And the third thing that is 100% under your own control is your next steps, your actions. No one is forcing you to do that next step. Now you may say, well, if I don't do it, my boss is going to fire me. Well, that might be a consequence, but you ultimately have the choice whether or not to take that particular next step. So your thoughts, your feelings, emotions, and your next steps, those are completely under your control. Now, where would you want to spend your time and energy? Would you want to spend it on things you're concerned about, but you have no influence and no control? Or would you want to kind of focus it in on things that you do have some influence and control over? Now, most of us want to spend a little bit of our time and energy on that circle of concern, our favorite sports teams, the weather, the politics. But we probably shouldn't spend too much because we can't do anything about it. So that means that that time is has a poor return on investment. So I like to say that in general, when we're looking at the circle of influence and the circle of control, we should only put 20% in the circle of concern and about 80% of our time and our energy on the circle of influence and control. Now here's the question. Chris, I've got some things outside in that circle of concern. I've got some things in the influence and I just don't like them. I worry about them. They bother me. So you basically have a choice. You can either take the situation and say, okay, you know what, I'm going to accept it the way it is. You can say, I'm going to find some way to change it. I may not have control, but I can influence it at least a little, or you can learn to love it. So accept it the way it is, do something to change it, love it, or there's one final choice. You can leave it. You can walk away because you do have control of that next step.
What is the relationship between the circle of influence tool and our values? The strongest relationship is with the value of empowerment. Empowerment is all about your circle of control. What can I do? What is within my control? There is also a connection with entrepreneurship. Innovating and identifying opportunities means looking at a situation and finding new ways to impact it. What can I do about this? How could I influence this situation? As you can see, the circle of influence is a powerful tool for you and for all DKSH leaders.